Hey, how's it going, do-it-yourselfers? So as you may remember, about 3 years ago, I did a video on 4 different methods of going about restoring your headlights. Whether your headlights were foggy or faded, or whether the UV protective layer on them was flaking, all those methods helped improve upon the appearance of the headlights. But how long do those methods last? That's the million-dollar question. And since I still have the 2 cars that I used the 4 headlights on to do those different methods, I'm going to show you which one still looks the best. So first we'll start with the Pontiac that is stuck behind my Dodge Ram that now has a crank no start kind of situation going. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. But anyway, we'll start on the headlight on the passenger side. So fixing this headlight was the cheapest method. We basically used some sandpaper. We started pretty coarse. We started sanding this headlight off, and then we went to very fine sandpaper. And then on top of the sandpaper, we simply put some Carnauba Wax. So after 3 years of sitting under the hot California sun, here's how it looks like. Now admittedly, Carnauba Wax does not last 3 years, but anyway, here's a closer look. And here's a look from this angle. Here's how it looks. It looks pretty foggy to me. Hopefully you guys can see this as well. All right, next we'll move up to the driver's side. This headlight was in pretty bad shape as well. However, I used the sanding kit that you could use with your drill to sand down this headlight. We also went down to a very fine sanding grit. And then if I remember correctly, I put on a UV protective layer after sanding this down. Not a clear coat, again, just a UV protective layer. You guys see this commonly at your local auto parts store. And here's a closer look of how this looks now. Pretty bad, as you can see. Yep, still pretty foggy. Now again, that UV protective layer, like the wax, is not supposed to last a long time. You're supposed to keep applying that. However, this should give you good contrast to the other repairs. Before I forget, do me a huge favor and subscribe and hit that bell notification. And also, if you're feeling very generous, you can support me on my Patreon page. Now, I'm not gonna say much, but there might be a pretty cool tool giveaway coming up on my Patreon page that you may not want to miss. All right, now let's get on to the Audi. So on the headlight on the passenger side on this car, this headlight wasn't badly damaged. The UV protective layer wasn't flaking. It was simply just a little bit foggy. So what I did was simply sand it down with some fine grit sandpaper. Then I did the repair that you've seen a million times on YouTube. I used the polishing kit with some polishing compound to go over that fine grit scratches and restore shine back to the headlight. So here's how this headlight looks like from 6 feet away after 3 years. And here's how it looks like up close and personal. It looks a little bit better than the headlights on the Pontiac, but not by much. This to me is still really foggy. All right, now let's move on to the headlight restoration on the driver's side on this Audi. Now, if I remember correctly, the UV protective layer on this headlight was flaking a bit. So I sanded this down again using a kit that you can use with your drill, starting with a coarse sandpaper. Then I went to a finer sandpaper again. Then I used some 2K clear coat to spray over those fine sand scratches. By doing that, not only you restore shine to your headlight, but also the clear coat will act as a protective layer on your headlight. And if you're wondering, 2K clear coat is basically a clear coat that comes with its own hardener separately. You mix this and then you apply it. The 1K clear coats are the ones usually you can buy at your local auto parts store. It doesn't come with a hardener. You simply shake it and then you start spraying. These are much better quality and they last a lot longer than the 1K clear coats. And if you're wondering where you can find these, I put a link to where I bought them down below in the description box so you can check them out for yourself. All right, so here's how this headlight looks from 6 feet away after 3 years of sitting under the sun. And here's how it looks up close and personal. Really good, as if this clear coat was just applied to this yesterday. And here's a shot from another angle. Hopefully you guys can see this better. Now if you look very close, you might be able to pick up some orange peel, but that simply can be sanded down and polished. But you really have to look really close to see those. Now here's the difference from this side where we use the clear coat to this side where we simply use the polisher. You guys can see a huge contrast between the 2 repairs. Now I've seen some complaints on the internet from people that used clear coat to fix their foggy headlight. They say that the headlight started yellowing quickly after a while, or that they weren't able to get rid of the foggy headlight in the first place. If that's you probably either use the 1K clear coat or use the 2K clear coat but didn't scratch it down well enough and follow the procedure exactly, or you scratch it down right, use a 2K clear coat, but then immediately put wax on your headlight. When you use a 2K clear coat, you're not supposed to, or any clear coat, you shouldn't put wax on your clear coat, whether on the headlight or on the car, for up to a month, because your clear coat is still curing after you apply it, probably up to 4 weeks, maybe even a little bit longer. So you need to let that breathe and cure completely before you put wax on it. So yeah, the jury is in and it's final. Beyond a reasonable doubt, if you follow the procedure that I went over in the video we talked about and use a 2K clear coat on your headlight, you can restore your headlight probably for life. So again, link to this in the description box. Also make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. Leave comments and questions down below in the comment section. If you're wondering where you can find the video I keep talking about, it's right here in this corner. You can click on that and check it out for yourself. And there's another video that you may find interesting as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.